Okay, hi everybody. Good afternoon to most of you, if you and good morning to a few people. Good morning to I'm here in the morning, so yes, everything is going well, and yeah, we're in the middle of summer, so beginning of summer, and yeah, welcome everybody, and so yes. Kevin Fournier is my name. I am an IP attorney based in the UK and handling mainly US IP matters from here in the UK because I'm mainly a US patent attorney, IP attorney in general, but mainly patents. And I also file at the UK Patent Office and also the European Patent Office. I'm qualified there as well, so I can practice on both sides of the Atlantic for clients, which is helpful, to have just one person. But I also do the wide variety of things that was just mentioned. Thank you for the lovely introduction. That was really nice, and I'm happy to be here. And happy to be able to speak to you again. Thank you for that. So yeah, I'm very pleased to be able to deliver this keynote speech here at the beginning of what's going to be a very interesting conference. So, who owns the IP when AI is involved is the question. And it's not an easy question, and it's something that people are asking and courts are asking. People are taking to court around the world, and I guess it's make its way throughout um, um, the legal, the whole IP infrastructure, such as contracts, who's going to own the IP when AI is involved would get into issues of like a contract law in terms of ownership. We'd have to come up with all these things. Okay, so let's start from the beginning here, where creating IP and how the laws create incentives for this. So basically, IP laws are created to reward human ingenuity and emphasis on the word human, because this is a social aspect. It's part of the society. It's the law is there to protect and reward people in society. The fruits of the human mind are being protected here with IP, whether it be patents, trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets, new innovative designs. All of this is stuff that comes out of the mind of a person, and the laws are there to protect people from having these, all the time and resources that a person spends, and creativity and years of experience that using their talents. The laws are assuming that this should not be stolen by somebody. Somebody can't just come along and say that person is smarter than I am. He's got really good ideas. I'm going to take them from this person, because it's easy to do so because there are no laws, protecting this, So because we have these laws, this creates a massive disincentive for others to come along and just take the fruits of the mind of people. So the reason for the laws is to say, hey, human being, if you use your ingenuity and you create these great things, we will protect you, and you won't be able to, other people won't be able to copy you and steal it from you, basically. But then we come to technological development and AI. So AI comes along and results in machines being able to create IP instead of humans. So now what do we do with this IP that's been created by machines? Because how do we fit this into the social policy of the IP laws that I was just mentioning? I think we can first think about, what would happen if this were done by an animal, if the IP were created by an animal, because I think that there was a recent famous case of a monkey taking a photo, and whether this can be protected by the IP laws? Are the IP laws looking to protect the creativity of a animal, such as a monkey? Now, uh, this is more of a random thing. The monkey just presses the button at a certain time, and the picture is taken, and the monkey doesn't probably think too much about setting up the scene, in the right way or anything. It's more random. He doesn't even know he's pressing the button on the camera. He just presses the button, and that's it. So this is much less structured and more random than AI, being involved. But it is the other extreme, I think. Humans on one side, animals on the other, and AI, somewhere in the middle. So with AI, you have rules and algorithms that are being applied to pre-existing IP that's being fed in. So you have the AI is not going to do anything if it doesn't have any pre-existing IP to work with. And when I say IP, I mean it could be photos, it could be movies, it could be articles, copyrighted articles, could be patents from the past. It could be old trademarks, but IP from the past is being fed into AI engines, and that IP is being processed by the AI engine. The AI engine will learn that certain IP looks a certain way and has certain content, and then you put in a prompt or some kind of a request into the AI engine after it's received this IP, and then the AI engine creates some new IP. So we can see there that there is some scope for human beings to get involved in the IP creation of the AI engine, because the human being has to select the old IP to put in to the AI engine, and the human being also has to decide what is the input in terms of a request, often usually called a prompt, that the AI engine would receive. So given those things, the AI engine will create some output. So the human has some ability to influence, what the IP is doing. But this, at the end, this results in new IP being created. This could be new artwork, it could be new stories, new songs, books, maybe comic books, magazines, movies. All of this could be created by AI engines. And um, so the question is, who owns the IP in the case of these new things being created? Um, so we may have seen some of these AI created movies or short videos, maybe on the internet, where there is something that would never have happened or has not happened, and but the AI engine is creating a video to show something happening, that is to make something funny, maybe in politics or something, with political leaders, making them look funny or doing funny things, for joke purposes. So this is just an example. The who owns this IP has not been created by a human. So when it comes to patents, um, if the AI creates a new invention for which the claims are drafted by the AI engine, and the specification and the drawings are all drafted by the AI engine, we could look for a human that is behind the creation, such as who is the human who provided the input that the AI should use to come up with a set of features, or what specific criteria to consider in solving the problem. Like maybe the human is telling the AI engine, I've got this problem, and the problem is very specific in this technological area, maybe involving fluid flowing through a pipe in a certain way, and the pipe is making the fluid flow very slowly, and then the inventor would say, please make the fluid flow faster, through this pipe, how can this happen? And then the AI might create some new kind of valve or new material for the pipe or something like that that would make the flow of the fluid in the pipe faster. So we could call the human the inventor that an owner of the resulting patent um, that set up the problem and maybe fed the old technology into the AI engine in the first place. Um, but I don't think it can be the machine itself or the AI software that would be the inventor and owner of that patent, um, because the IP laws are meant to incentivize human beings, as I was mentioning earlier, to create new IP. And if you think about it, a computer does not need any incentive. It will do what it does because it's told to do what it does. It doesn't need to be thinking that the computer needs, even with AI thinking, it doesn't need to be incentivized by anything other than the fact that it's plugged in, it's got power generated to it, and it is programmed, to do something. So the AI engine and the computer, as the creator of the IP, cannot sign legal declarations like humans are expected to do, basically saying that certain facts are true, such as I believe that I am the inventor, and like the declaration form that the inventors all have to file when they have a new patent at the USPTO. If they're lying on that form and they are not the inventor, that there will be jail time involved in the US. There's a penalty of perjury if you swear that you're the inventor, but you're not the inventor. But how can an AI engine be swearing that something is true and be threatened with jail time when it's not a person, it's a computer? So it makes no sense to think about putting a computer, behind bars in jail, because that's just ridiculous. All you have to do is unplug the computer and it suffers no consequence, to being in jail. So I think, because of these results that don't make sense, for considering a human, non-human inventor, we need to change. I think the IP laws will eventually need to change to create different incentives for humans again, because it's only humans that are provided with incentives, by the law, and that the law deals with, the actions of humans. So maybe we could look to the human behind the computer to see how much direction, how much content, how much specific requirements the human has given the machine. And maybe the laws would change eventually to say, if AI creates some IP, then the owner will be the human who created the most background or incentive or background or precursor material or inputting to the rules that the computer is using, or providing the prompt, or even shaping the output, because um, um, it's it's not just a question of taking what the computer provides, and that's your claim, and you're going to file that as your patent application. Maybe the AI would generate something in terms of a suggested claim, and the human would then change it quite a bit and say, well, that's a good idea, computer, but I think we need to change it, to quite a bit now to add this other feature, or to change the one feature that you thought that we should add and make it another feature. So, you could totally change what the computer has done, but use it as a starting point. And then, of course, the human would be an inventor and owner of that patent. Um, so I think the human could take the computer's output. That modified version would belong to the human. Um, so there must be some level of human selection involved, because I was thinking about this, and the computer could actually generate like 1,000 inventions in a second. if you just tell it to a very powerful computer processing farm. It could be made to generate 1,000 inventions every second. I mean, how could all of these be protected? Practically, there's too many of them, and many of them may not be useful or the best one to file. And think of the filing fees that would be involved, and would a client want to pay that much money to file that many patent applications? The patent office would obviously be flooded as well if this were the case. So there has to be a human involved in filtering through the computer's output, selecting the ones that are the best, and further modifying them to suit the needs of humans and the client, in terms of the client company that's paying for this in the first place. And this could be seen as invention, and this filtering process of taking the many outputs that come out of the AI and choosing the one that you want to select. There was creativity there involved, and maybe that would involve the laws changing. I think it probably would. The lawmakers will need to think about that, and how to best phrase the laws to cover this. So that is, I really do think that the laws will have to change in order to protect this. So I think in terms of ownership, we have this scenario where the company has done the R&D, using the AI, could be the owner. The company that's paying for the R&D, the company that is behind the research lab where the AI is actually running, could be the owner. But even then, the inventors or the authors or the designers who would have to be named as the creators under the IP law. So the same issues would apply. But I think a lot of the IP creation is these days that I've seen in my career, it is done in the context of collaboration work between two entities. So it's kind of hard to say that only one entity, one company is generating and owns the IP that the AI is creating. What happens when you have a collaboration between two entities, maybe a university and a research lab? Who will own the IP then? I think that's governed by contract, usually, like the joint development agreement that the two parties would enter into. So I think IP attorneys will need to be creative in coming up with new clauses for those contracts to cover the case of two companies jointly developing, each using their own AI engine, each of which they have trained before the collaboration starts. So yes, I think in summary, this is the opening of my talk here is the opening of a very interesting debate, which I'm sure lots of you will have good ideas too. But in summary, in closing my short talk here, AI is posing many interesting IP issues, but we have to deal with these. Possibly by changes in the law is my thought, and but we have to decide, I think, as consumers of the IP as well, of the IP created by others. Why do we pay attention to new IP in the first place, like new movies, new books, and new music? My personal view is that we pay attention to other people's IP because we want to experience the human side of whatever they're creating. If somebody creates a new song, we know it's been created by a human, and that there's certain emotion involved, with it. A certain movie has been created by a human, a director, and they've added their own human, touch and their experiences, their life. Background, has been put into a certain piece of IP, and we appreciate the IP because it is created by by a human. But what if if AI is generating this, is totally, it could be totally fabricated, totally false, totally no human element to it. So do we really want to spend our time paying attention to that kind of output? Do we want to watch movies generated by AI? I don't know. So I think we need to ask these questions as well. But the AI ownership, is very interesting, and I'm sure we'll get into more aspects as we go. So yeah, thank you everybody, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of the conference. And I will, and I hand it back to you, Rajat. And you're doing a great job so far. It's going well.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your participation, and thank you, sir.
And Remit, yes, yeah, both of you, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.